Hi, my name's Tim Matthews and I'm a friend of John Collinswood's. Before you watch the films which you're about to watch, I think it's pertinent to talk about John and where this idea came from. I hadn't realised, actually, when he first mentioned it, quite how profound an idea it is, and actually quite how necessary, perhaps, it is. Because I think most of us, those of us certainly who are not directly affected by child bereavement, wouldn't ever think of something like this. In the following films, though, you will hear the perspectives of people, some very brave people, who have lost children and who have suffered in ways which most of us probably can't imagine. We'll also learn why it's so important to have somewhere like the Round Chapel, because these places don't seem to exist, which is what spurred John on in the first place and is what's driven him to have the chapel built. On that note, let's hear from the man himself, John, about the conception behind the chapel and why he's building it.
I'm lucky enough to have a daughter and a son, who I'm very proud of, both of those, and I'm very fortunate they are still here. I think it is very unnatural for a parent to bury their child. I've never had to do that, and I can't really get my head around that, but I can imagine it would be one of the most impossible things to do. I've known 4 people that have lost children, and in many ways they can't express how they feel. I know that in the morning they wake up and they think about their children. Last thing at night, it's the last thing they think of is their child. Their anniversaries are always very, very difficult. And as I say, I think it's one of those things where people don't see the hurt, but it seems etched on their faces from what I've seen. And I just thought that nothing was being done. And I thought this was an opportunity to try and do something. As far as the idea for the chapel was concerned, is that over my lifetime I've had good times and bad times, and overall I've won more than I've lost. I wanted to do something where I thought it would really make a difference and where there wasn't a facility. The land on which the chapel is sited belongs to the Round Chapel. We've gifted it to the chapel, so that can never ever be changed, no matter what happens. We will be granting permission to wander around this orchard and the meadow. What we're hoping is that we can provide a place where people that have suffered from the same situation are able to come together here to be able to communicate, to be able to talk, to be able to share their experiences. Nobody can turn back the clock and nobody can change anything, but hopefully it's something where they can get at least some solace from what's being built here.
We're going to move on now to hear some stories from people who have suffered bereavement. The first of those people is Gina.
Hi, I'm Gina, and in 2007, in the June, I lost my son, aged 11, from leukemia. Right, well, these were the clothes, the last clothes that he went to the hospital in. So I've passed all the other clothes down to the children, but these I've kept because I used to smell him, but I just can't smell him now. It just smells of damp. He started to collect, when he was in hospital, a memory box of all pictures, toys that he liked. He kept a dictaphone, which I've transferred the tape onto a disc because obviously the tape's worn out. But silly things, he's kept, I don't know why, all things that have gone in the box. and he's kept numerous amounts of pictures. And he's also kept, this is so old, this, he had a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend called Ellie, and they used to write each other love letters whilst in hospital. That was good, he needed that. He needed to feel a bit more normal, you know, and not the boy with leukemia, with the bald head. That was us as a family. I mean, that was how much he loved life. It was just, it was just a Halloween that he dressed up on. That was, he liked to dress up. Right, well basically, any cancer patient that knows when your temperature spikes, you have to go to the hospital. It's the first sign of infection. That Saturday morning, normally it's a madhouse. The kids, temperature, quick, get into the hospital. But for some reason, I just clung to him, and I really did. And he was looking at me, and I said, Kenan, don't worry, don't worry. It's as if, I don't know, now looking back you sort of think it was weird because I really cuddled him and I really hung on to him. And I said, I love you, I'll see you soon, I won't be long, I'll see you soon, I love you. And he said, I love you too. And where we lived, the house was sort of on a hill and the road was set down. So I leaned over the terrace and I could see his face and he was waving up at me. And then it was about 7:30 the next morning when my mum said, I don't know, he had a bit of a restless night. She'd gone down for a coffee, and when she come up, they wheeled him through, but she didn't recognise him. It wasn't the leukemia that killed him. He had then developed, they call it a lesion, but it was a lesion on the brain, and that killed him. So it was never the leukemia. And it just put him into a coma, and that's how he was. Me and my dad drove up there. I was worried for my dad because he was in his 60s then, and he was just getting redder and redder, and I thought, oh gosh, don't let anything happen to him now. And then when we got there, he was in ICU, he was plugged up to everything, and we sat round the bed, and I said to my dad, come on, we'll go downstairs now. And he said, no, no, we won't, because he's still here. I said, Dad, he's not here. And he was on all the machines, which was basically keeping everything alive. And they said, shall we turn the machines off? And I said, is there any way whatsoever? And they said, if there is, he will come back a vegetable, because the brain had completely died. So they switched the machines off, and yeah, he was gone. In the end, he was actually saying, I've had enough. I hadn't. In my mind, no. We were continuing, he was going to get better, other children got better, but I'm afraid I had to accept that he wasn't going to get better. You know, this little heart here, you have never in your life experienced pain like that. That is in pain, and I mean excruciating. Not the physical pain, the mental pain, and it hurts. Although it's not in physical pain, it hurts. And it is the worst pain because you feel like you're dying and you don't want to live. There's nothing to live for. However, I had 2 other children. As much as I could have crawled in that coffin with him, I had 2 other children, so I had to. But it fucking hurts. And it hurts, but afterwards, when the hurt stops, you want that hurt, because that hurt is then part of you, that reminds you, and you feel, in a strange way, comforted by that hurt. Grief is a selfish thing, so you tend to want to be on your own, want to push people away, want to grieve, and it's just a selfish thing. You are trying to survive and hang on to what is still there, but at the same time you're coping with the hurt and the pain, and then trying to cope with normality, and it's a hard thing to do, very hard. You feel bitter, you feel angry, you want to ask why, and there are no answers. Nothing can really answer you, because what's happened has happened, and you just got to deal with the after effects. What helped me was writing about my feelings, about memories of my son, things that we did, things that we had, and in the end it turned into a book. And it did help, because it was a way of me putting things in an order, writing them down, remembering them, still angry, still raw emotions, but it was something I thought that maybe in years to come the younger boys would read it, and I just needed to get it out there. It was my way of keeping him alive, I suppose, and that way that he was there and I could refer to certain things, and yeah, thus the book was formed. Yeah, you feel guilty of silly things, times you've smacked them, times you've told them off. Yeah, oh, a lot of guilt. Why did I do that? Why didn't I let him do this? I should have done that. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, you go through lots of guilt, but you're doing what a normal parent does at a normal time. And whether you told him off for sticking his finger in a plug, well, yeah, you done it because you loved them and you don't want them to get hurt. But yeah, you do get riddled with guilt. The hardest thing for my dad at 66, on his 66th birthday, was going to see his grandson in the chapel arrest. That was hard, very hard. But I don't think I'm going to mourn them like I did my son. It's in the right order. Whenever you do speak to someone that's lost someone, there's like an invisible piece of rope that ties the two of you together, and you don't even have to know that person, but instantly you know that person. But you don't actually talk about your children. You revert to funny things, but it's a private club, and it's a weirdly nice club.
We've got lots of words for Gina.
She's generous,
Kind.
she's so happy.
She's never, ever, ever miserable.
No.
Never. Hardly ever, ever seen her miserable. She's so happy. She's a happy person. That's the main word for Gina.
Oh, she's brilliant.
She's brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
She was the backbone of everything for us.
Well, Gina,
she's always happy. She's always happy.
Right. You can't say nothing else.
She's always laughing.
They're always laughing and going and walking.
100 mile an hour.
You've been with her.
You've been there, so you know.
You know. She's just.
She's 100 mile an hour all the time.
She always seems a bundle of fun. Really.
And you watch her now, still 100 mile an hour, no matter what.
Yeah, she's just unbelievable, really.
You do feel better after doing exercise, but for 1 hour or a lunch or whatever, you are out of that trauma. And it's good for you. It is good for you. You can't live your life stressed, in trauma, depressed. You've got to live your life. And if it means Zumba or paddle or hits or whatever you do, you've got to do something. I've known John for a while. He's a workaholic. He'll drive you nuts on this thing, on that thing, because he won't sit down. I've given him the book to make him sit down and relax. But needless to say, no, once he's on this train, he's going to keep going until he gets it done. And you know what? Good on you, because too many people give up. And you're not the type to give up, so go for it. And it's a good thing you're doing.
Gia?
That's a wrap.
I don't think I can ask you anymore.
No. I think we need a drink now.
I think so.
This next film highlights how just as no two stories are the same, neither are any two people.
Hello, we are Christopher and Samantha Earle, and we are here to talk about our daughter, Georgia, that we lost in 2012. The nice thing about fishing is that you can lose 4 or 5 hours, you know, just with yourself. No mobile phones. It's good to get away from everyday life, and it's, you know, a form of escapism, really. Yeah, I was Georgia's stepdad. But really, I never treated her any differently from having, you know, my own daughter. We all got on really well. Yeah, all 3 kids. Georgia was similar age to my son. My daughter's a little bit older. But yeah, we all got on good. Holidays and weekends away and all sorts of stuff. Describe trouble. No, she was a lovely kid, good sense of humour, mischievous, but never particularly naughty, but just good fun and very, very good sense of humour. Georgia and I chose our house together without Samantha. We went to view a house in Stokes-on-Hamden. Sam was at work. Georgia said she liked it, so we went ahead. So we made the big decisions, Georgia and I. It was a typical Sunday afternoon. We had friends round for dinner, and basically she went up to have a bath, going to school on the Monday, and she'd been a while up there, so Samantha went up there and found her, unfortunately, in the bath. So me and my friends ran up there very quickly to obviously see what was going on, called the ambulance, tried to resuscitate her. But, you know, it was fairly obvious, I think, that she'd gone. And then Samantha and I went off in the ambulance to Yeovil Hospital, who tried their best. It was all a bit of a nightmare. Probably the worst day of my life. She was happy, healthy, and unfortunately, she got, she got turned off, like a switch. You know, one minute she's happy-go-lucky, healthy kid, playing, and then next minute she's not there. So one good thing is that she didn't suffer.
5 years ago, I scattered my daughter's ashes here. We thought it would actually be a good place. Hubby likes fishing, we like the beach, Georgia liked it here. It just seemed the perfect place, really. You're always going to be surrounded by water, so you're always surrounded by her. I haven't been back, actually, since we scattered the ashes. We've had lots of plans to come back, but every time we do it, I always say, no, I can't do it, because I don't want to go through the tears, which are likely to come. You hide from it. You try and do what you can to not have the tears. and the emotion. But this is good. It's good. It's 5 years. It's good to be back. Ish. I don't like feeling weak. I know that sounds really terrible. I don't like people seeing me weak. I'm quite happy for them to think that I'm cold and hard. It helps because people don't like to talk about her either, because they don't know what to say. She could have been at a friend's and it could have happened. She could have been at school. You have all these things running through your head, and I'm kind of thankful in a way that it happened at home and no one else had to go through what I went through, what I still go through. You feel guilty if you don't think about her, or if you go through a day and you haven't had a thought about her, and then if you do think about her too much, you end up like this. I mean, everyone says that I'm brave and I deal with it well. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. Nobody should ever lose a child. When Georgia died, I felt so alone and so isolated, and it took a long time to actually find other people in the same situation. And you only do that by talking to people. I mean, you know, I couldn't find any groups, or it was just didn't seem anyone local or anywhere I could go. And if that had been there then, it would have been probably, I'm not going to say a lifesaver in that sense, but it would definitely have helped the process of dealing with it, because you're talking to people that are going through it or have been through it. I mean, people that haven't lost a child don't know what it's like. I'm not saying, I don't know. It's a hard one. I don't even want to feel what I'm feeling. So I can't put it into words how you feel every day. I think what Johnny's doing is selfless. I think he is such a good man, and I think he puts others before him, and I will definitely go and visit. It's a long way for me, but I will definitely visit, for sure. Bless him.
As with every chapel, the round chapel will need to be consecrated, and this will be done by Clive Reed, whom you're about to hear from. Clive will also be around going forward to offer support and spiritual guidance to people should they need it.
My name's Clive Reed. I was born in England. I came to Spain with my wife and my son 30 years ago. To me, God isn't somebody somewhere. God's somebody who communicates with me. I don't hear him, but he puts things in my heart. I am John's priest. When he comes to Javier on holiday, he confides in me. Other people do as well. The idea of the round chapel, that there'll be a place where parents can go who don't know. They don't know whether the children had an argument at school, were bullied at school, were interfered with, got fed up with homework, or got killed. And you just don't know. And there's got to be somewhere where you can go with like-minded people and cry when you want to cry and laugh when you want to laugh. The centre of the church, it's going to be round. There's going to be no windows in it, as far as we can tell. There's going to be 12 apostles dotted about, so that people don't go in there and feel they've gone into an empty place. But all around the walls is going to be stone and slate, which is going to be carved with whatever they want to put on it, that is going to remind them of their loved ones. It's going to go up to a chimney, and there's going to be 3 windows in the chimney, one for the Holy Spirit, one for the Father, one for the Son. There's going to be a light everlasting, a candle that will never go out. The candle is there as a reminder that the parents are still thinking, are still praying every day for that child, for that person.
I'm sure you will agree, now that you have watched these extraordinary films featuring these extraordinary people, that the project of building the round chapel is one well worth getting behind, and an idea which needs to be shared far and wide. If you feel like you can support in any way, please get in touch. And thank you very much for watching.